In 2016, a man in Louisiana drove his Toyota Tundra past 1 million miles on the original engine and the original transmission. Toyota was so stunned they bought the truck back, handed him a brand new one, and shipped his old Tundra to their engineers, who tore that million-mile engine down to the last bolt. What they found inside made headlines. After 1 million miles, the parts still measured almost like new. Here's the part of that story nobody tells you. That truck wasn't a miracle. It was maintained a very specific way, and the method behind it is the same quiet philosophy Japanese mechanics have used for decades to push ordinary Camrys, Corollas, and 4Runners past 3, 5, even 700,000 miles. So that's what this video is. The exact habits that separate a Toyota that dies at 180,000 from one that outlives its third owner. The fluids most owners never touch until it's too late. The models that actually go the distance. And the two engines I'd never bet on. And the sire probably doing to your Toyota every morning, which costs exactly nothing to stop. Your Toyota was engineered for this. Most owl for it. This is that manual. No filler, starting now. Here's the uncomfortable truth behind every Toyota that dies at 180,000 miles. It's almost never the car. Toyota builds these engines with enormous headroom capacity. The oiling system are all designed what daily driving demands. When a Toyota dies young, the autopsy nearly always says the same thing. Neglected fluids, ignored heat, and small problems that were allowed to become big ones, which is actually the best news you'll hear all week, because it means the difference between 180,000 and 500,000 isn't luck, and it isn't money. Most of what you'll hear today costs less per year than one car payment. It's a system, and I'll give you the whole system in order. The teardown lesson, the philosophy, the fluids, the habits, the models, and the free fix I promised you. One ground rule, same as always on this channel. Real model years, real numbers, no scare tactics. Let's start inside that million-mile engine. When Toyota's engineers opened up that Tundra's 4.7-liter V8, they expected to document a worn-out engine. Instead, they found cylinder walls that still showed the original factory honing marks, the fine crosshatch pattern machined into the metal when the engine was built. After 1 million miles, components they measured were still within, or barely outside, factory specification. Let that sink in. The engine wasn't dying. At 1 million miles, it was still fundamentally healthy. And the owner's routine was almost boringly simple. He was religious about scheduled maintenance at the dealer, oil changes on time, every time, while racking up highway miles for work. That's the first mental shift on the road to 500,000. Your Toyota's engine, if it's one of the proven designs, does not have an expiration date at 200,000 miles. Metal doesn't wear out on a calendar. It wears out from dirty oil, overheating, and neglect, all of which are choices. And that idea that longevity is a practice, not a lottery, has a name in Japan. It's the philosophy the whole method hangs on. And once you understand it, every habit in this video becomes obvious. That's next. There's a reason the Japanese method keeps coming up in every long mileage story. Japanese maintenance culture runs on a simple inversion of how most drivers think. Preventive, not reactive. In Japan, the vehicle inspection system is so strict that cars are maintained before symptoms appear. You don't wait for the noise, the leak, the warning light. By the time a car part announces it's failing, it has usually already damaged something else. Think of it like dentistry. Nobody waits for the toothache to start brushing. But that's exactly how most people treat a car. Drive it until something screams, then pay whatever it costs. The scream is the expensive part. The entire 500,000-mile system is that one idea applied 5 ways. Fresh fluids before they're worn out. Cooling, part replaced before they fail. Rubber replaced, be swapped while there's still cheap problems. And gentle treatment in the exact moments the engine is most vulnerable. So let's build it, starting with the single biggest lever you have. The one that decided the fate of that. Million-mile Tundra, oil. If you take one section of this video seriously, make it this one. Oil is the bloodstream of your engine, and almost every Toyota that dies young dies through it. First, the interval. Toyota's schedule for most modern models running 0W20 synthetic says 10,000 miles or 12 months. And on a healthy engine doing her cuss, But here's what the long mileage crowd actually does. And I agree with them, 5,000 to 7,000 for hard use, because Toyota's own manual quietly says the same thing in the fine print. The severe hort trips, extreme temperatures, dusty roads is 5,000. Most real-world driving is closer to severe than people admit. Oil is the cheapest component your engine will ever consume. When in doubt, change it sooner. Second, and this one is non-negotiable on a Toyota, check your oil level monthly, not at the change, monthly. Some Toyota engines, and we'll name names later, can consume oil as they age, quietly, with no warning light until it's critically low. An engine that runs a quart on oil, it's running hotter with less protection every single mile. 30 seconds with a dipstick in your driveway is the cheapest engine insurance that exists. The million-mile owners all share this habit. They know their car's oil level the way you know your phone battery. Third, the spec and the time. Use the viscosity on your oil cap. For most modern Toyotas, that's 0W20 full synthetic, and change by time, not just miles. If you moisture and fuel just sitting through short trips, 12 months is its shelf life in the engine, even at low mileage. And the filter, every change, no exceptions or equivalent. A $2 saving on a filter protecting a $10,000 engine is the worst trade in the automotive world. That's the bloodstream. But oil is only one of 6 fluids in your Toyota, and the other 5 are the ones almost nobody changes. That neglect list is exactly where 180,000-mile Toyotas come from. Walk through any junkyard and you'll find Toyotas with perfect engines that died over a $200 fluid. Here's the full list with real intervals. Transmission fluid, the big one. If you've been on this channel before, you know the lifetime fluid story. Lifetime means the warranty's lifetime, not the car's. A gentle drain and fill with genuine Toyota WS fluid. Never a high-pressure flush on a neglected high-mileage unit, starting around 60,000 miles, then every 30 to 60 after. Owners chasing 500,000 treat transmission fluid like engine oil with a longer calendar. Coolant. Toyota's pink super long life cool for 100,000 miles on the first fill. 50,000 after that. The mistake isn't the interval, it's topping up with the wrong coolant or plain water and slowly corroding the system from the inside. Pink in, pink only. Brake fluid, the forgotten one. Brake fluid absorbs water from the air. It's hygroscopic. And after about 3 years, it's carrying enough moisture to corrode your brake lines, your calipers, and on modern cars, the very expensive ABS unit from the inside out. Every 3-year independent shop. Nobody does it. Everybody should. Differential and transfer case fluid. If Yondra, Highlander, AWD, RAV4AWD, anything sending power to more than 2 wheels. These gearboxes are workhorses and their fluid is an afterthought at most shops. Every 30 to 60,000, more often if you tow or off-road. It's a few quarts of gear oil protecting components that cost thousands. Power steering fluid on the older hydraulic systems. Newer Toyotas are electric and exempt. If your reservoir fluid looks like cola, it's overdue. Here's the pattern. Every one of these is a double-digit or low hundreds expense that protects a 4-figure component. That's the whole Japanese method in one sentence. And the system that Fluid List protects most directly is the one that kills more engines than anything else. Heat. That's next. Ask any engine builder what actually kills engines, and you'll get one word: heat. Metal expands, gaskets cook, oil breaks down. Your Toyota's cooling system is in a 500,000-mile engine and a warped head, and cooling parts are wear items, even on a Toyota, so the 500,000 crowd replaces them on schedule. On an older Toyota is plastic tanked. Those tanks get brittle with age and can let go. Without warning, a preventive radiator around the 15-year mark is cheap compared to what an overheat event costs. The thermostat and the water pump on engines with a timing belt. The older V6 and V8s like the 4.7 in that million-mile Tundra. The water pump gets done with the belt every 90,000 miles because the labor overlaps and a seized pump can take the belt with it. Hoses. Squeeze test at every oil change. Soft, swollen, or crunchy means replace. 2 habits cost nothing here. 1. Glance at your temperature gauge or warning light like it matters. If it ever climbs, pull over. Driving even 2 miles on a $50 thermostat into a $3,000 head gasket job. 2. Check the coolant level in the overflow tank monthly. Same ritual as the oil. Hybrid owners, Prius Camry Hybrid, RAV4 Hybrid, you have a second cooling loop for the inverter and a small fan that cools the battery. Keep that battery fan vent clean. A dust-choked fan quietly cooks the most expensive component in the car. And that brings us to the promise from the first minute. The most damaging thing you're probably doing to your Toyota every single morning, and it's free to stop. Here it is. The way you treat your Toyota in the first 5 minutes after a cold start does more to decide its lifespan than almost anything else you do. And most owners get it exactly wrong in one of two directions. Understand what's happening at a cold start. Overnight, the oil has drained down into the pan. The metal parts are cold and haven't expanded to their designed running clearances. For the first minute, your engine is running on marginal lubrication with loose tolerances. This is when the majority of all engine wear happens. Not at 70 on the highway. In your driveway, cold. Hey, number one, the person who starts the car and immediately drives off like it's fully warm, revving to 4,000, flooring it onto the main road, full throttle with cold, thick oil that isn't flowing properly yet. That's grinding metal on metal at the exact moment the engine is most vulnerable. Do that every morning for years, and you've sanded 100,000 miles off the engine's life. Mistake number two? And this is the myth. Idling in the driveway for 10 minutes to warm it up. Extended idling warms the engine agonizingly slowly, dumps raw fuel into the cold cylinders where it washes the protective oil film off the walls and dilutes the oil in the pan. Unless you need to clear ice, long idling is not kindness. It's slow damage plus wasted gas. The right way, the way the high mileage own give it 30 seconds to a minute while you buckle up, then drive gently. Easy throttle, low revs, no hard pulls until the temperature gauge reaches normal, usually 5 to 10 minutes. The engine warms fastest and safest under light load. That's it. That's the free fix. Costs nothing, saves everything. And one add-on for the short trip drivers. If your daily use is 2-mile hops, the engine never fully warms, moisture never burns off, and your oil ages in fast forward. That's exactly who the severe service schedule was written for. Give the car a proper 20-minute highway run once a week. Think of it as cardio. Now, warm engine, moving car, let's talk about the driving habits that quietly add or subtract 100,000 miles. Nothing here requires driving slow. It requires driving smooth, and smooth is measurably different. Smooth inputs first. Every hard launch hammers the drivetrain, engine mounts, transmission, CV joints, differential. Every panic stop from tailgating cooks the brakes and pounds the suspension. The high-mileage drivers ride like there's a full cup of coffee on the dash. B. Anticipate. Watch 2 or 3 cars ahead, lift early, coast to red lights instead of accelerating at them. Your brakes will last twice as long and everything attached to them ages slower. Second, respect the load. Lugging a Toyota up a long grade, fully loaded, air conditioning blasting in the heat of summer. That's the hardest thing you can ask of it. If you tow with a Tundra, a Tacoma, a Highlander, stay honest about the ratings. Let the transmission hold a lower gear on climbs instead of hunting. And consider the tow package's transmission cooler the bargain of the century. Third, highway miles are cheap miles. That million-mile Tundra did it in 9 years. That's mostly highway. Engine at steady cruise, fully warm, is barely working. City miles, cold start, stop and go, idling. Age a car 2 or 3 times faster per mile. You can't chank top judging a used Toyota by odometer alone. And stop worrying that your own highway miles are using the car up. They're the easiest miles it will ever do. So the machine is protected from heat, wear, and abuse. But there's an enemy that doesn't care how well the engine runs. It eats the car around the engine, and in half the country, it's the actual reason Toyotas die. Here's an uncomfortable fact from the Salt States. Most northern Toyotas don't die of mechanical failure. They die of rust, with a perfectly healthy engine on Botelli. The frame rust on mid-2000s, Tacomas got bad enough that Toyota ran a massive campaign buying trucks back and replacing entire frames. If you live where roads get salted, or nearest engine maintenance because it decides whether there's a car left to put the underbody through winter every couple of weeks in the salt months. Use the coin wash wand or a drive-through with underbody spray and rinse the frame, the wheel wells, the rocker panels. Salt does its damage while it sits. Once a year before winter, treat the underst coating, fluid film and similar product stom of your doors and rockers clear. Those little slots exist so water escapes instead of pooling inside the panels. And fix paint chips before they bloom. Truck and 4Runner owners, one more, crawl under once a year and actually look at the frame. Surface rust is normal and treatable. Flaking, scaling rust is a conversation you want to have early. Remember the campaign lesson. Have a dealer run your VIN before you pay for anything a program might cover. Body protected, fluids fresh, heat managed. Now the layer most owners skip entirely, the $20 parts that decide $4,000 outcomes. Cars rarely die of one big thing. They die of a small thing that was allowed to take the big thing with it. The 500 playbook replaces small parts on schedule. LEMS. The serpentine belt. It drives your alternator and water pump. When it shreds on the highway, you lose charging and cooling in the same second. It's a $20 to $40 part. Replace on schedule, or at the first sign of cracking, don't wait for the squeal to become a snap. Engine air filter. A clogged one makes the engine work harder for every breath. It's a 10-minute, $15 John plugs genuinely last 100,000 or. But not forever. Worn plugs strain the ignition coils, and coils cost real money. Do plugs on schedule and the coils live? Battery terminals. A 2-minute clean once a year prevents the corrosion that causes half of all car won't start mornings. And on modern cars, low dirty voltage causes gremlin electrical faults people pay hundreds to chase. The 12-volt battery itself. Test it yearly after year 4. A dying battery stresses the alternator that's forced to carry it, and the timing question because it splits by engine. Most modern 4-cylinder Toyotas run a timing chain. Lubricated by your engine oil, good for the life of the engine if the oil stays clean and full. One more reason the oil section was the longest. The older V6 and V8s, including the Legends, run timing belts, rubber, 90,000-mile interval, non-negotiable, which is the perfect segue. Because know which engine you have is about to become the whole conversation. The models and engines that actually go the distance. And the two I promised I'd warn you about. Let's name names, because Toyota's last forever is a generalization. The truth is that specific engines last forever, and a couple of well-documented ones don't. The heroes first. The 4.7-liter V8 Tundra Sequoia 4Runner Land Cruiser, roughly 2000 through 2009, is the million-mile engine from our opening story. Overbuilt in the old way, owners routinely report 500,000 miles. Its bigger brother, the 5.7 in later Tundras, carries the same reputation. The 4.0-liter V6 in Tacomas, 4Runners, and FJ Cruisers from the mid-2000s on. Same story. Keep fluids in it, and it simply refuses to die. In the sedans, the Camry and Corolla 4-cylinders of the 2000s and 2010s are some of the most durable, mass-produced engines in history. And the 3.5 V6 found ACR and Sienna from around 2007 onward is a legitimate 300K engine. And the hybrids, this surprises people, the Prius and its hybrid siblings are taxi fleet legends. The hybrid system takes so much strain off the gas engine that 500,000-mile Priuses on original drivetrains are documented all over the world. Now the two I'd never bet on, not because they're doom, but because they demand eyes-open ownership. 1. The 2.4-liter 4-cylinder from roughly 2007 to 2011. Camry, RAV4, Scion models of that era. Piston ring design led to serious oil consumption as they age. Toyota ran a warranty enhancement on it, long expired for most. If you own one, that monthly dipstick habit isn't optional, it's survival. 2. The 3.0 V6 from the late 90s into the early 2000s. Camry Avalon ES300, the sludge-era engine. It punished even slightly stretched oil changes by gelling its own oil. Fine under obsessive maintenance, unforgiving without it. And most are old enough now that their history is a mystery. Notice something about both. Their weakness is oil, which means even Toyota's problem engines die of the same thing healthy ones do, just faster. The system in those two, it's the whole ball game. One layer of the system left, the paperwork that makes all of this pay you back. Every maintenance act in this video gets more valuable if it's written down. A one-line log, date, mileage, what was done. plus a folder of receipts. Paper or a notes app doesn't matter. It pays you twice. First, at sale time. A hinted history is a different product than the same car without it. Buyers pay real premiums for proof because everyone knows the difference between Trust Me and a folder. Second, and regulars here know this one, if a major component ever fails early, that folder is exactly what turns a goodwill request to Toyota from owners get repairs covered out of warranty. Undocumented owners get sympathy. While you're at it, keep the maintenance genuine where it counts. Correct spec fluids always genuine or OEM equivalent parts for anything touching the drivetrain. A 500,000 car is built out of 1,000 small correct decisions. Now let's zip it all into one Play 5 to 10,000. Oil and filter. Pick your interval honestly, time-based if you drive little. Every 30 to 60,000. Transmission drain and fill. Diffs and transfer case on the trucks and AWDs. Every 3 years. Brake fluid, on schedule by your engine, coolant, plugs, belts, timing belt with water pump at 90,000 where applicable. Every fall in the salt states, underbody treatment, then winter washes. Always gentle first 5 minutes, smooth inputs, log everything. Price the whole program out and it runs a few $100s a year for a driveway DIY-er, maybe $800 to $1,000 through an independent shop. Compare that to the alternative. The average new car payment in America is north of $700 a month. Keeping a proven Toyota alive is the single best financial trade in transportation. The Japanese method isn't just how you get a car to 500,000 miles. It's how you retire your car payment forever. And one more honest thing about reaching Hugsit. Cars don't just get scrapped because engines fail. They get sold because they start to feel old. Sagging seats, tired suspension, rattles. Around 150 to 200,000, spend a little on shocks, struts, and bushings. It transforms how the car drives, and suddenly you're not fantasizing about a replacement. Half of longevity is mechanical. The other half is still wanting the car. E-manual, oil watched like a hawk and changed early. 5 forgotten fluids. Remembered. Heat manage before it manages you. A gentle first 5 minutes every morning for free. Smooth hands, clean frame, small parts on schedule, the right engine under the hood, and a folder that proves all of it. Notice what's not on the list. Additives, miracle products, secret tricks. The million-mile Tundra ran on the most boring routine in the world, executed without exception for 9 years. That's the actual Japanese secret. Consistency so boring it looks like devotion. Any Toyota on the proven engine list, treated this way, has 400,000 miles in it. Most just never get the chance. Now I want the comment section to become the proof. Drop your Toyota's model, year, engine, and mileage, especially you high-mileage owners. What's your routine and what's the one habit you swear by? And if you've got one of the 2 engines I warned about, tell us how it's wholer. That thread becomes the resource the next downer finds when they're deciding whether their 230,000-mile Camry is worth keeping. It is. Your Toyota was engineered to outlive your loan, your kids' learner permits, and probably your next 3 phones. From here on, whether it gets to prove, that is up.